Hey Gear Seekers, I'm Nick. Last year Cooler Master surprised me with their wired MH752s. Like them or not, they're comfortable and they sound great, and I like them so much that I used them primarily as my traveling headset and while I had to do stuff on the road, like listening to music on the plane or while editing while we're overseas. And one thing that I felt Cooler Master was missing though was a wireless solution, since wireless headphones are kind of my jam. They're my preferred way of listening to music and monitoring audio in general, and also gaming. So it makes sense to just not be tethered to the desk at any time. So let's see if the brand new Cooler Master MH670s, let's see if they're a worthy replacement. I want to preface this video by saying that I used the MH670s to complete Final Fantasy VII Remake on the PS4, and it's not the usual way that I test a headset, but yeah, I wanted to see how versatile these could be. And if you don't know, I also produce all the music here on this channel, and I've been producing music forever, so I know what good music and audio should sound like. So let's first take a look at what you get in the box when you open it, and yeah, let's just see what's in there. When opening the box, you'll find a little bit of documentation, pretty standard stuff. You'll find a fabric carry bag, the detachable flexible microphone, the headset itself, which immediately feels very soft, the USB dongle that connects to your PC or PS4 for wireless functionality, a 1.2 meter long braided style cable used for using the headset in a wired mode, and a USB Type A to micro USB for charging. I'm not sure why they didn't use USB Type-C in this case, because for quick charging it would just make a lot more sense, but yeah, I think it's probably just to save money. The build quality is very good, and the MH670s have rotating ear cups, which I think should be pretty standard on every single headset designed for gamers. The ear cups follow the same idea as the MH752s and have some of the softest ear pads ever on them, and they are very, very comfortable. The headband is also padded and it's also fully adjustable too, and yeah, it's almost like they listened to what people actually wanted with the headset. On the left ear cup, there's a socket for connecting the detachable microphone under a little rubber grommet, which is also designed with a different shape so you don't accidentally plug in the microphone in the wrong direction. There's a 3.5mm mini jack connector with a rotating locking tab. There's also a microphone toggle button and a volume wheel as well. On the right ear cup, there is a virtual 7.1 surround sound toggle button, a micro USB port for charging, a tiny little status light to give you battery and link information, and a power button for turning the headset on and off. Using the headset's pretty straightforward. You just plug the USB dongle into your PC or your PS4, or for Nintendo Switch or your Android phone, use the included little Type A to Type C adapter, which our sample unfortunately didn't have, but luckily I have something that can do it anyway, and it worked on the Nintendo Switch and my phones with no problem at all. Although I'm not sure why you'd want to have a huge dongle hanging off your phone or your Nintendo Switch. Bluetooth here would have been a lot more useful, and I feel like I say this every single time we do a headset video, but to me, side tone is one of the most important configurable features on gaming headsets, and unfortunately, again, there's just no side tone with this headset at all. I think I know why, but also it doesn't make sense given how many times I've talked about side tone in headphone videos. What I think's going on here, and what I think Cooler Master's trying to do with all of their products, is not force you to install any software to get most of the features, and I think side tone is heavily reliant on software, and in saying that, they could have just given us the option anyway, and some people like me are stupidly obnoxious when they're using voice chat, and I just don't want everyone else in our building to hear me screaming at the top of my lungs, swearing all the most crazy obscenities all the time. But yeah, you guys can do this. Just add it in a firmware update or something. I'm sure the headset's capable of doing it, so please give a side tone. And speaking of software, the MH670s integrate with Cooler Master's Portal software. I feel like their software is still a little bit fragmented. It's getting a bit better, and as far as software control, it's pretty basic, which again isn't really a bad thing. The main use case for the software is for controlling the EQ and the surround positioning, which surprisingly actually worked pretty well. It's pretty straightforward, and you can create your own profiles, and just like with the older versions of the software, you can also save them and export them and all of their stuff, and yeah, it just syncs with all the other Cooler Master products, but it is still a little bit fragmented. And with that said, I always judge a headset with how they sound with music before anything else, because for me, that's just what I do with headsets. I just like listening to music with them, and while I'm working, that's basically the most time that I'll spend using a headset, and I like doing this with all of the software stuff turned off. So how do they sound? And the answer is pretty simple. They nailed it again. Honestly, these things sound really, really good. Now, they've got a lot more range in their MH752s, and they sound a lot fuller without sounding muddy, and in stereo mode with a flattened EQ for listening to music, they sound excellent. You can hear every sound distinctly in the mix, and again, just like the MH752s, the bass isn't overpowering, but it's finely tuned, and it's bass for your face without making your eyes water, and that's just the right amount of special sauce. And I honestly wasn't expecting them to be better than the MH752s, but they completely destroy them in every single song that I listen to. It's the most well-rounded bass response that Cooler Master has ever had in a headset. And the fact is, they're pretty close to the Sennheiser GSP 370s for bass response, and the Corsair Virtuosos, they don't even come anywhere close to these, and that's me being completely honest. But how do they sound with games? And like I mentioned, I played around 22 hours of Final Fantasy VII Remake with them on, and that being on the PS4, and they worked really well and they sounded excellent. Now, they were super immersive and the positional audio was really good, although they were only in stereo mode, which actually worked out to be quite good. The 7.1 switch doesn't work on PS4, which didn't surprise me at all. I did test the 7.1 on PC with the Assetto Corsa Competition, is that how you say it? I don't know. And yeah, while I'm a complete noob at sim racing, they sounded really, really good, and you could hear where everything was. And as far as battery life, they only needed to be charged out of the box once since they weren't full charge, but you could, I played them for about 6 hours before I needed to charge them, and they take around 3 hours to fully charge, and you can get, I got easily another 16 hours out of them without having to charge them, and that's when Final Fantasy was finished. And as far as battery goes, I think the MH670s are some of the longest lasting wireless headphones I've seen, only coming second to the GSP 370s, which you'll get around 100 hours from, and that's ridiculous because that's worthwhile. Anyway, this leads me into the next thing. How are they to wear for extended periods of time? Again, these things are so light and comfortable that I forgot that I was wearing them for 22 hours. I didn't suffer from any fatigue from the sound at all, and overall it was a pretty pleasant experience. The headband has plenty of adjustment, even with the stupidly fat head like mine. Seriously, look how ridiculous my head looks right now. The padding on the ear cups is also really good too, and it's like the MH752s. They're super soft and they're like little pillows for your ears. Okay. Let's talk about numbers and specs and all that stuff because everyone wants to know all of that stuff. All of the sound is pumped to your ear holes via a set of 50mm drivers, and those 50mm drivers have a frequency response of 20 Hz to 20 kHz in wireless mode and 15 Hz to 25 kHz in wired mode. It's actually quite interesting that they do that, but it does make sense because you can actually physically pump more power to the headset when they're wired. And with that said, it's got an impedance of 32 ohms at 1 kHz. The microphone has a frequency response of 50 Hz to 18 kHz with an omnidirectional pickup pattern. You can decide for yourself if you think it sounds any good because, yeah, obviously I'm talking into the microphone right now. Not everything's perfect with this headset, and there's only two things that I really don't like about it. The first thing, as I mentioned already, it's the side tone. I'm a serial shouter. When I play games, I just need to hear myself, otherwise I'll just scream louder, and side tone to me is super important. And I know a lot of people don't need it, but people like me who are pretty obnoxious when they use voice chat, it would have been really nice to have, and that would have really made this a killer headset for me. And I know they can add it somehow, so Cooler Master, make it happen, add the side tone. And the other thing is the lack of Bluetooth for wireless phone pairing. I don't understand why anyone would want to plug that big dongle into your phone. It doesn't make sense. It's probably to make it cheaper somehow, but yeah, Bluetooth would have been good, so they could have at least given us the option. Now, some things to note as well. I saw people complain that they weren't loud enough, and I think those type of people are hearing impaired or don't know how to use the volume on their PCs, because the volume dial is for the headphones only, not the input level. That's both wireless and wired mode, so make sure you crank your device's volume up to 100% and then use the dial on the headset to make some adjustments. Yeah, you know how I know this though? I used them for over 22 hours in a game and not for a 20-minute review. Anyway, overall the Cooler Master MH670s are really good. You don't need software to use them, they don't have RGB, they have really good battery life, and they sound excellent. And all the things that you would expect from a wireless gaming headset. The bonus here is you can use them as a wired headset. And the best thing about them though is none of that stuff, it's the price, because what you're getting for your hard-earned money is actually, it's not that expensive, all things considered. Now, if you're new to PC gaming and you don't have a headset, or you don't want a headset with RGB, or you have a set of headphones that you really don't like, or you want something that's better and you don't have wireless headset, the MH670 is probably the best $110 US you could spend. And that's the bottom line. I don't know how much they're going to be selling for in Australia because I don't have the info right now, because they're not really due to be out here for a while. But if you're in the US or anywhere it's available, it's really hard to go past this headset based on value alone. So yeah, that's what I think, and let me know what you think. Let me know if you're keen on checking them out. They're actually really, really good. I was very surprised. I'm always skeptical with wireless headphones. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not, but these turned out to be a lot better than I expected, which isn't really a surprise because the last headset from Cooler Master we checked out were really, really good. Anyway, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Consider hitting the join button to support the channel, or joining us on Floatplane for early access. And if you want, we've got a second channel that we're kicking off. It's called Mainbyte. There's a link to that channel in the description as well if you want to sub. And yeah, we're doing all other types of tech stuff that isn't PC related over there. So you might just find something that you find interesting when we start uploading very, very soon. Anyways, guys, if you like this video, you know what to do. Like, dislike. Once again, thank you so very much for watching. I'm your boy Nick with Gear Seekers. You peek, we seek. And I just really want to reiterate, these are a lot better than I expected. I love that they don't have RGB. They are super adjustable, super flexible. The padding is ridiculously soft. And the MH752s are the headset that I actually use while playing VR. So I use those for long times as well. These are better. Simple as that. These are better, and they're wireless, and in wired mode they're also better too. So yeah, let us know what you think and all of that jazz, and we'll catch you later. I think we're doing a lot of streaming content this week, so get excited. Yeah, thanks for watching, I guess.